Galera, avisando, esse vídeo aqui é um spin-off da viagem de Las Vegas. Se você não assistiu, pode ver no link que tá na descrição ou nas anotações do vídeo, beleza?
Cláudia, senta lá.
Bom, lá em Las Vegas eu conheci a Judy Bowen, uma ativista LGBT e mulher trans de 74 anos de idade que esteve presente na Stonewall, a revolução que deu origem aos direitos LGBTs no mundo. Isso mesmo, se você pode ser POC hoje em dia, boa parte disso se deve ao que ela lutou, resistiu e, diferente de muitos que lutaram com ela por nós, sobreviveu. No vídeo de Vegas eu mostrei um trechinho dessa entrevista com ela, só que eu decidi lançar nesse vídeo exclusivo aqui na íntegra porque vale a pena ouvir os conselhos e principalmente conhecer a história dessa mulher que também é parte da nossa história.
Most trans people don't live long lives. I'm 75. I'm the only survivor from that era that I know of. And when I first went to college, I had long dark hair. My hair is really brown. But when I moved to New York, I lived with a family and I kept getting arrested by the police. And when they arrested you, you were black and blue for a month because they beat you up. In high school, I was very suicidal. I tried to commit suicide 3 times. My family were farmers and the only place we went was to church 3 times a week. I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and I was totally different. Transgender people are born the way they are, and you can only be happy by being yourself. And there's no shock therapy or any kind of thing that you can do to change it. Because when my mother first took me to a psychiatrist when I was 11 years old, because I had a thing about wearing my mother's heels all of my life. I used to wear her heels. And my brothers would all look at me like, oh my God. But you know, my brothers are my best friends now. And what they tried to do during that time, they would try to give you shock therapy.
Wow.
And if they give you shock therapy, you're never the same.
How old were you?
11.
Wow.
And during that same time, I was kidnapped by a man. My mother sent me to a store and to get some shopping done. And while I was there, this man said, I go to church with your mother, let me give you a ride home. So I'm just a little kid, right? And he apparently discovered that I was not what he was looking for. And so he got out of the car and he took out shovels and digging equipment. And he started digging a hole in the ground behind the car. So my mind said, oh, he's going to kill me. And I somehow got courage and energy enough to get out and run. And it took me a long time to recover from that. This happens to a lot of transgender people because they're not happy. They're not happy with our lives, with seeing us as what we are. And they think that because of the religions, they say there are only 2 sexes, but that's not the truth. When I first moved to New York, I was working during the day as a man, as a boy. Man, I was never a boy or a man. But anyway, I had to go to work wearing. And then someone said, you should work at the Tangled Palace. So they hire people like you. I said, what do you mean? They said, you've got to have a good wardrobe because the girls that they have working there have to look good. And so this was me in front of the Tangled Palace on my way to Studio 54. This is it's a strange battle that you fight with society and religion. See, I believe in God. God has been with me through my whole journey. The day that I went into surgery, I was one of the early ones in New York. At 24, I was by myself and I was not afraid because I knew I was doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. Some people are meant to have surgery, some are not. You got to make sure that you can live and work as a female and be perfectly happy before you go through surgery because you cannot reverse surgery. Basically, we were threatened by the police. We were always, if we were in a place and they felt that we were a trans, we would be arrested. Nobody really wanted us. We were just rejects. One time I was in a club near the university, New York University, and I was in there and I was, wearing a 2-piece suit. I worked as a female. And the police came in, they said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm waiting to talk to a friend of mine. And he said, get out of here. So as I went out the door, They locked the door from behind me, and all 4 police officers had billy sticks, and I could only hear screams as I was walking down the street. A lot of people ignore the fact that there was a lot of violence from the police. I tell you, it was not nice. It was scary. And all that led up to the Stonewall, because people were so tired of being killed. Sylvia Rivera, one of the leaders, she had her nose broken 3 times. And what saved me was the fact that I worked as Judy. I did not let people know what I was. Marsha was black. She was a Virgo like me. She was born in 1945. I was born in 44. Marsha walked around in broad daylight in her regalia, her gowns, but the police thought she was crazy, so they didn't bother her. You know what I mean? Because she was so happy. But then she got murdered in 1992.
She was in danger.
I was there when they pulled her out. Marsha was so full of life.
Marsha P. Johnson is the Rosa Parks of the LGBT movement.
Darling, I want my gay rights now!
Her case has been cold for 25 years.
They really do not accept our lifestyles, but it's beginning to work out in this country. We have a lot of transgender people working as school teachers, airline stewardesses, showgirls, and they're making good livings. I think that God put us here for a purpose. We are kind of like, you know, I am a Virgo, and I'm very sensitive about the needs of other people. And here in Vegas, we created a shelter it's called a trans dorm, where we provide housing for homeless transsexuals. In our life, in our early lives, we have to depend upon the kindness of other people. And because you have a lot of transgender people living in the streets, even in this country. In Brazil, they should do this too. Society tries to control who you are and what you become. But everyone has a right to live and be free. It's a God-given right. No government has the right to dictate to you that you can't be yourself. That's why there's so many suicides in the gay community, because we're told that we cannot be what we want to be. But you gotta really fight for it.